School bell echoed through the hallway as Wine opened her locker. Just as she reached for her chocolate, a hand snatched it away. Jungkook gave it back. I spun around glaring at him. Morning to you too, Wine. What's the magic word? I was holding the chocolate above my head, grinning. I love tasting her. How about leave me alone forever? I huffed, crossing my arms. Wrong answer. I laughed, unwrapping the chocolate and took a bite. You know, snacks taste better when they are stolen. You're so annoying. Don't you have anyone else to bother? I tried to grab it, but no one else reacted like you do. You're fun. I shrugged. Girls in the hallway glanced at them, whispering, why does Jungkook only messes with her? It's not fair. Great, now everyone thinks I'm the chosen victim. I rolled my eyes, muttering, victim? I'd say you're the main character of my day. Well, I'd rather not be. I glared at him and stormed off. See you in class, Ryan. As she disappeared down the hallway, Jungkook's grin softened. He watched her for a moment longer before heading to class. Jungkook, the most popular boy in her class, his sharp features, mischievous grin, and undeniable charm made him the crush of nearly every girl in school. But to Ryan, he was just a headache. The classroom was quiet as the teacher wrote on the board. Ryan sat in her seat, trying to focus on the notes, but the boy behind her had other plans. Jungkook leaned forward, tugging slightly at a strand of her hair. Ryan swatted at him without looking back. Stop it, Jungkook, I whispered angrily. What? I'm just trying to fix your messy hair. He poked her back with his pen, causing her to jerk forward. I swear, Jungkook, if you don't, I hissed, but I was cut off by another poke. I whipped around in frustration. Will you knock it off? I unintentionally said loudly. The class fell silent. The teacher turned around, raising an eyebrow at me. Why, do you have something to share with the class? No, ma'am, I stammered. The teacher glared at me before continuing with the lesson. Jungkook stifled a laugh behind me, and I turned around, glaring daggers at him. I'll get you for this, Jungkook, I whispered, looking forward to it. I sat leaning back in my chair, grinning. I love her cute little threats. Vine sat with her lunch tray in the cafeteria, finally enjoying a peaceful moment. Suddenly, Jungkook appeared and snatched a piece of her sandwich. She gasped, Jungkook, that's my lunch. He started chewing, shrugging casually. Well, not anymore. Sharing is caring, Ryan. You're the last person I'd share with. I stood up, grabbing at his hand. He held the sandwich above his head, laughing as I tried to reach for it. The students nearby watched us, whispering to each other, and girls throwing daggers at me. Why does he only pay attention to her? He's so playful with her. She is so lucky. I let him steal all my snacks. Ryan finally gave up, sitting back down and crossing her arms in frustration. Jungkook placed the sandwich piece on her tray, smirking. Here, I was just testing for you. It's safe to eat now. Get lost, Jungkook, I yelled, glaring at him. But then who'd make your day interesting? I grinned, leaning closer. He walked away, leaving Wine fuming as the cafeteria buzzed with amused murmurs. She was getting more frustrated with the usual attention, Wine half trying her best to ignore the girls glaring at her. She knew why they were jealous. Jungkook never pulled this nonsense with anyone else. For some reason, she was his favorite target. The next day during class, Wine opened her textbook to find a folded note inside. Curious, she unfolded it to see a poorly drawn doodle of herself with exaggerated angry features and steam coming out of her hair. Below were the words, You when I take your snacks, JK. Wine's cheeks flushed with irritation as she turned to glare at Jungkook, who was sitting behind her, stifling a laugh. She crumpled the note and threw it at him. You're such a child, I whispered. Wow, you didn't even keep my artwork. I put effort into that. I unfolded the note and pretended to be offended. He pulled her back with his pen, causing her to groan in frustration. The teacher looked up, raising an eyebrow at her sudden noise. Wine, is there a problem? He said sternly. No, sir, I said, smiling in pain. As the teacher resumed the lesson, Jungkook leaned forward, whispering, You should frame it next time. My work will be famous one day. I'll frame it when you learn to grow up, I whispered back. Despite her annoyance, she couldn't help the small smile tugging at her lips. Jungkook noticed and smirked to himself. Each day, Jungkook's teasing became a routine, from light pokes and hair pulling to stealing her pens and scribbling in her notebook. He seemed to enjoy driving Wine crazy. And despite her irritation, there was a part of her that didn't entirely mind his attention. The teacher entered the classroom, silencing the students. Alright, everyone, as exams are approaching, you'll get to choose a senior to tutor you in the subject you struggle with the most. This is a great opportunity, so pick wisely. The class erupted into whispers as students began discussing whom to approach. Wine's eyes immediately darted to Minjae, her senior crush, who was leaning casually against a door frame with his arms crossed. Thinking to herself, this is my chance. Without hesitation, She shot out of her seat and hurried toward him. Jungkook, who had been twirling his pen lazily behind her, frowned as he watched her sprint across the room. Minjae-sanbe, can you tutor me? I really need help with calculus. Minjae-sanbe smiled kindly, nodding. Sure, Ryan, I'll help you out. Let's work hard together. Ryan's eyes sparkled as she clasped her hands together in excitement. Thank you so much, Sunday. I beamed with joy. Jungkook's jaw tightened, his pen snapping in his arm. He muttered under his breath. Seriously, him? She is already good in her studies. As the tutoring session started, Minja sat beside Ryan, explaining the lesson patiently. Ryan hung on to his every word, her gaze filled with admiration. Jungkook sat nearby, seething. He leaned back in his chair, barely listening, but his eyes kept darting toward Ryan. What's with those stars in her eyes? She never looked at me like that. He's always throwing daggers at me. Unable to bear it any longer, Jungkook interrupted casually. Jungkook grinned and Ryan huffed with clear annoyance. He smirked, enjoying her irritation, though the way she looked at Minji made his stomach twist. Is everything okay? He said, looking up curious, as he was still new to their bickering. Yeah, he's just being himself. I forced a smile. Minji nodded, not sensing the tension, and continued the lesson. Jungkook, however, did not stop glaring at Minji every time Ryan asked a question, his jealousy simmering beneath the surface. The next section arrived, and Ryan nervously approached Minji with a bag of snacks. Minji-sanbe, thank you for helping us. I brought these for you. I said, trying not to be shy, but felt my cheeks getting hot. Smiling warmly. Oh, thanks, Ryan. That's really thoughtful of you. Jungkook, sitting nearby, watched the interaction, his jaw tightening. As days passed, Jungkook's jealousy only grew. He couldn't stand the way Ryan looked at Minjae, or how she brought snacks for him every time. The basketball court buzzed with energy as students gathered to watch the friendly basketball match between the senior and junior teams. Ryan sat in the bleachers with her classmates, eagerly watching the game. Her eyes, however, were glued to Minjae, who was the star player of the senior team. Go, Minjae, Sunday, you can do it, I cheered loudly. Jungkook on the junior team overheard her cheers. His jaw clenched as he glanced at Ryan then at Minjae. His determination sharpened. Jungkook, you're looking intense, as if you're ready to. You good? Just pass me the ball. I said, gritting my teeth. The game resumed, and Jungkook played with ferocity no one had ever seen before. He blocked Minjae's shot, stole the ball, and scored point after point. The crowd cheered louder with every move he made, but Jungkook's eyes kept darting toward Ryan, who was still shouting Minjae's name. It's okay, Sunday, you've got this. Ryan, you're supposed to support Jungkook. He's our classmate. Whatever, it's not an official match. If it was, I'd still support Minjae-sanbe. I again started cheering for Minjae, while more than half of the audience was cheering for Jungkook. Minjae smiled at her encouragement, but Jungkook's blood boiled. In the final minute of the game, he drove through the defense and scored the winning basket, sealing the juniors' victory. The basketball court erupted in cheers, but Jungkook wasn't satisfied. He scanned the crowd for Ryan, smirking as he imagined her reaction. However, his smirk vanished when he saw Ryan running toward Minjae instead. She held out a water bottle, her expression filled with concern. Sunday, are you okay? You did amazing out there. I said softly. Minji chuckled, taking the water bottle and patting my head gently. I felt thousands of animals running in my stomach. Thanks, Ryan. That means a lot. Jungkook's fist clenched at his sides, his chest tightening. His teammates patted him on the back, congratulating him, but his eyes stayed locked on Ryan and Minji. She's supposed to be looking at me, not him. I gritted my teeth. Possessiveness took control over my mind. He stormed off toward the locker room, his jealousy burning like a fire. Everyone was looking at him with shocked expressions. He was looking so angry. What happened to him? He won the match. Then why is he behaving like that? I was staring at his walking figure. I don't know. You know him better. He's your classmate. Unknowingly, Ryan felt concerned about him. A few days later, Jungkook found Ryan during lunch, holding his phone. Hey Ryan, got some news for you, I said, grinning smugly. What now, Jungkook? I sighed, barely glancing up. Your precious Minjae-sanbe has a girlfriend. Stop messing around, Jungkook. Somewhere I felt anxious. I knew you wouldn't believe me. Here's the proof. I showed her my phone, but she didn't look affected. In picture, Minjae was standing beside the girl, holding her hand. I felt frustrated and caught her wrist, making her stand. Let me show you. Believe me, I became a celebrity thanks to this. Everyone looking at me with curiosity. Jungkook pulled her toward Minjae's classroom. Ryan froze, staring at him. Minjae was sitting with the girl, smiling. Her cheeks, their hands intertwined. It was clear that she was more than just any friend. I didn't know, I said quietly, forcing a smile. No tears, no heartbreak. I thought you would be devastated. After all, you had a crush on him. I spoke, watching her closely, my teasing faltering. Why would I cry? Good for him. I shrugged, trying to sound unaffected. I turned to walk away, my head slightly lowered. but Jungkook grabbed my wrist, halting me. What is it now, Jungkook? I frowned, not turning back. Jungkook didn't reply. He knew she was pretending to be unaffected by it. Instead, he tightened his grip slightly and started pulling her through the hallway. Students began whispering as they watched, their gazes following the two. Girls stared with jealousy, and the boys exchanged curious looks. Let go, Jungkook, what are you doing? Let me go. People are staring. I struggled. My voice was low but firm. I tried to free my wrist but failed. I don't care. Come with me. I sat not looking back, my voice turned intense. He led her to the rooftop, slamming the door shut behind them. The cold wind hit Vian's face as Jungkook finally stopped and turned to her. She crossed her arms, glaring at him. What is your problem? I snapped. Jungkook knew she was masking her hurt with anger. Jungkook stepped closer, his expression uncharacteristically serious. He gently cupped her face, tilting it upward to meet his gaze. Vian blinking in surprise as she felt his thumb brush against her cheeks. You're crying, I said softly. What? No, I'm not. My eyes widened. He stopped mid-sentence as she realized her tear had betrayed her. Jungkook's jaw tightened, his eyes filled with something unfamiliar. Pain. I can't stand seeing you like this. I can't take this anymore. My jaw clenched, but my voice trembled slightly. Before Vine could respond, Jungkook leaned in and it wasn't teasing or impulsive. It was raw and filled with emotions. Vine froze for a moment, her mind racing. She snapped back when she felt him. He pushed him away and his face turning to the other side due to the impact. What the hell, Jungkook? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was panicking. Jealous of what? I was stunned. I don't know, but I hated it. I couldn't see you falling for someone else. He was stuttering badly. Vine looked surprised looking at him. He was always confident and sure about his actions no matter what. He was looking vulnerable. Why? Why do you even care? Why were you even jealous? Jealous of what? I stared at him, my voice softening slightly. Of Minjae, of the way you look at him. I like you, Ryan. I've liked you for so long, and it's driving me crazy watching you fall for someone else. I said, running a hand through my hair. You like me? My eyes widened. Yes, and I know I've been a jerk. But I didn't know how else to get your attention. I was desperate for you to notice me, but you never did. He said desperately. The rooftop fell silent as Ryan processed his words. Her heart raced, but her mind was a storm of confusion. She took a step back. My voice was barely above a whisper. Without another word, she turned and ran from there, leaving Jungkook standing there, his heart heavy. Jungkook grabbed his hair in frustration. I think I messed up. From few days, Jungkook's behavior totally changed with Vian. Everyone got curious on why did he stop teasing Vian. Whenever their eyes met, Jungkook smiled at her so lovingly, unknowingly making her heart flutter. She was slowly melting, but somewhere she was missing the old Jungkook. It's not like she wasn't liking new Jungkook. She loved this change in him. The classroom was quiet as Vine walked in and approached her desk. Her eyes widened when she saw a small cute bouquet of small flowers and a box of chocolate placed neatly on her seat. She looked around and confused before her gaze landed on Jungkook. He had his head down on his desk, pretending to be asleep, thinking, is it him? No, it can't be. Or could it? She clutched the flowers and chocolates, her heart flirting unexpectedly. She glanced at Jungkook one more time, but he didn't move. She bit her lip, trying to suppress the small smile forming on her lips. Wow, Wine, who's the secret admirer? I don't know. I chuckled nervously and felt my cheeks burning up. Is it your crush, Minjae Sanbe? Jungkook, who was pretending to be sleepy, snapped his head toward Nana. Wine looked at him, glaring at Nana. No, Nana, he's not my crush. Oh, come on. Everyone knew you had crush on him. I don't have it now. I was trying hard to hush her. I could feel Jungkook's burning gaze on us. Feelings don't fade easily. Will you please shut up? Everyone started looking at me. Let's talk outside. I dragged her out. I told her everything and she was shocked. He did what? Shut up or his fangirls will swallow me alive. Debak, I knew it. Didn't you like him too? Oh, of course, who would not? But everyone knew he'll end up with you. You look good together. What? He was so annoying. I didn't like him. Trust me, Ryan, you enjoyed his teasing too. So what will you do? I still haven't said yes. You will, darling. Believe me. I'm not sure. The next day, Vine walked into class and stopped in her track. Sitting on her desk was an adorable keychain shaped like a tiny bunny. She picked it up, examining it closely, her heart racing again. As she looked around, her eyes caught something familiar. Jungkook's bag hanging off his chair had the exact same keychain attached. It really is him. Unknowingly, a soft smile appeared on her face. She quickly put the keychain in her bag as the teacher entered. But throughout the lesson, she couldn't stop smiling like a fool. She didn't even notice the teacher and class staring at her. Teacher was calling her name. Vian, do you care to share with the class what's so amusing? She got startled and sat up straight. I'm sorry, sir, I'll focus. The teacher sighed and went back to the lesson. Wine, embarrassed, sank lower in her seat. From behind her, she heard a soft chuckle. She turned her head slightly to see Jungkook grinning, his hand covering his mouth. Idiot, I whispered. Shut up, I foolishly blushed, whispering back. But she couldn't stay annoyed, and her smile returned as she touched the keychain in her bag. Vine was sitting on the bench. Vine made a decision. She attached the bunny keychain to her back and stared at it for a moment. Her cheeks warm. She couldn't deny it anymore. Jungkook's small gestures were making her feel something she hadn't expected. But just as she was beginning to accept her feelings, she overheard two boys talking, standing at a little distance but still audible. Did you hear? Jungkook's got a girlfriend. Yeah, I saw them on the rooftop yesterday. I just saw them walking toward the rooftop. Van froze, her blood boiled, and without thinking, she sprinted toward the rooftop. She burst through the door, her chest heaving with anger, but the rooftop was empty. She stood there trying to calm her racing heart, when two arms suddenly pulled her back. She gasped and looked up to see Jungkook standing inches away, his dark eyes locked on hers. Why are you here, Ryan? Were you looking for me? I stammered. That I have a girlfriend? You believed that? I interrupted, my voice low. You. Yes, I asked them to do that. Why? Were you jealous? Ryan tried to look away, not denying it, but Jungkook tilted her chin up, making her meet his gaze. Why don't you just be brave for once and admit it? Admit how you feel. Her breath hitched as she stared at him, her heart pounding in her chest. I don't feel anything. Oh, I see. Then I think I should accept a proposal from one of my fangirls. I've been lonely for too long. Without thinking, she grabbed his collar, pulling him down, and Jungkook froze for a moment. When they finally pulled apart, Ryan's voice was breathless but firm. You're mine, Jungkook, and if you even think about looking at another girl, I'll break your hands. Jungkook grinned, his forehead resting against her. Little kitten, so possessive. I'm loving it. Don't call me with that. He snaked his arm around my waist. Why, if I will you punish me? Nasty kid. But I didn't say anything, girlfriend. Who said I'm your girlfriend? Your actions, the way you grabbed me by my collar, pulled me closer. I leaned dangerously close to her, my nose slightly brushing with hers. She quickly placed her palm on my. She was red tomato now. Shut up. Did he just. My palm? I retreated my hand quickly. You dirty kid. Now I'm a dirty kid. Then why did you? She slightly pushed him away, making him grin mischievously. Shut up or I'll dump you right away. Okay, okay, I'll stop. I can't afford that. Vine rolled her eyes but couldn't hide her smile as Jungkook pulled her into another, sealing the moment.